The plight of people in Gaza, displaced by the war and haunted by continued Israeli attacks, have now been compounded by another bitter enemy, the cold weather. According to reports, 6 babies have died due to extreme cold conditions in a week. Rains have further added to the plight. Now, the Palestinian news agency Wafa reported that 1-month-old Ali al-Batran died on Monday at Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in central Gaza. The day before, his twin brother Juma perished from the cold in the displaced family's flimsy tent in Deir al-Bala.
هذا اللي كان لابسه الولد اللي استشهد الله يرحم روحه هاي والشباح اللي انت الزلمه الكبير بدك تلبس اقل حاجه 3 بلايز وجوكيت.
3 of the 6 babies who have died of hypothermia in the past week lived in the coastal safe zone of Al-Mawasi, close to the southern town of Khan Yunis. Israeli forces have displaced almost all of the 2.3 million residents of Gaza, forcing tens of thousands of them into makeshift tents in open-air camps along the rainy, wind-swept coast. Now, most recently, strong winds and rain destroyed dozens of tents in Deir al-Bala, leaving displaced families struggling to repair shelters. Flooding has damaged essential supplies, and at least 6 people, including infants, have died from hypothermia and cold exposure in recent days.
It rained. Although it wasn't heavy rain, it was mild rain. And look what happened to us. We were flooded. The wooden poles of the tent broke. We barely fixed it. The water seeped inside and on the mattresses and my children's clothes. I changed the children's clothes this morning to their underwear. They were sleeping and soaked wet to their underwear.
Due to the rain yesterday, water gathered over the worn-out tents and broke them, broke the wood, and the water went down on those asleep. And we got up at 3 a.m. to try and gather what is left of the tent.
International aid agencies warn that relief efforts remain grossly inadequate. Heavy rain has further complicated aid delivery, and many families are without food, clean water or warm clothing as winter conditions intensify. Israeli strikes continue to hit northern Gaza, including Beit Hanun and Jabalia, with intense fighting reported around Beit Lahiya. According to reports, the latest strikes have killed 27, taking the total death toll since October last year to 45,500. Aid agency UNRWA has called for an urgent ceasefire to prevent further humanitarian catastrophe, but peace talks remain stalled. All right, for more on this, we are now being joined by our correspondent, Jody Cohen, who's joining me live from Ra'anana, Israel. Hi, Jody. How's the government responding to the surge in newborn deaths due to cold, and what specific challenges are they encountering in providing aid and support?
Hi, Siobhan. Yeah, this is a tragic situation. Israel has said that it's allowed thousands of aid trucks into Gaza, but the problem is that aid agencies are not picking them up. They said that 800 trucks, including warm clothing and blankets, have been sitting for months on the Gazan side of the crossing. Now, the aid agencies are saying that there are problems in distribution because of lawlessness in Gaza. Now, I spoke to a senior Israeli government official who accused the Hamas terror group of being responsible for the hardship caused to their own people. He said that this is a war that Hamas designed to cause maximum harm to the most vulnerable Gazans in order to curry favour in the international media. And this is a quote. He said that Israel is aware of the tragic situation. To be frank, it's hard to see how Hamas treats their own people, and Israel will always do its utmost to get aid in to help Gazans in the midst of a war. And he said that Hamas could release the hostages and lay down their arms and the war would be over. And instead we've seen more rockets fired from Gaza into Israel and another Houthi ballistic missile just last night.
The situation definitely is extremely dire for innocent Gazans. But as of now, I also want to talk to you about the ceasefire, Jody. Israeli Prime Minister says that Israel should be upfront about its plan to resume the war after the hostage deal. Now, the remarks sparked further concerns about the hostages, as Hamas has partially rejected a list of hostages that Israel insists must be released as part of the deal. Where do you see the deal heading as of now?
Right, so Prime Minister Netanyahu suggested that the war would continue until Hamas surrenders. And Israel basically can't accept having Hamas on its doorstep after Hamas's 7th of October massacre on Israel and the taking of hostages, which, remember, Hamas has threatened to repeat. Now, Hamas is said to be refusing to release 1/3 of the hostages requested by Israel in the first phase of the deal. And Israel is requesting the children, the elderly and the women hostages to be released first, as well as any sick or wounded hostages. Now, in terms of where this leaves the talks, they're reportedly faltering but ongoing. We might expect to see some movement in the new year. And remember, President Trump has said that all the hostages must be home by inauguration or there will be hell to pay in the Middle East. So perhaps we might expect to see Hamas release the American hostages to try and appease President Trump, but that's not likely to be enough.
Thanks so much, Jody, for getting us the latest. Always happy to hear from you. That was Jody Cohen, our correspondent, getting us the latest from Renana, Israel.